Welcome back, enthusiastic learners. Let's jump right in, because today we are doing a deep, deliberate dive into two absolutely essential JLPT N4 grammar structures. Honestly, these two are total game changers for your Japanese. You know, at this N4 stage of your learning journey, you're making a massive leap. You're well past the N5 days of just pointing at things and desperately asking for water, right? Now, you're learning to sound natural, polite, and deeply nuanced. Today, we're going to look at exactly how to build practical everyday methods using kata, and then, on the flip side, how to express your gentlest inner thoughts using kashira. By the end of this explainer, you're going to see a serious upgrade in both your mechanical sentence building and your soft conversational charm.
Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. 1. 2 essential N4 grammar tools. 2. Mastering action with kata. 3. The crucial particle shift. 4. The art of wondering, kashira. 5. Navigating conversational nuance. And finally 6. The final grammar review.
Section 1. 2 essential N4 grammar tools. Bridging mechanics and nuance. Moving right along to Section 2. Mastering action with kata, building the how-to.
So let's talk about why a well-rounded Japanese speaker actually needs both practical tools and emotional nuance. When you're tackling the JLPT N4, or honestly, just out there speaking in the real world, just knowing a bunch of vocabulary isn't enough. Picture this. You've just moved into a brand new apartment in Tokyo. You buy this high-tech Japanese washing machine. It's got literally 30 different buttons, flashing lights, the whole shebang, and you have absolutely no idea how to turn it on. You need the mechanics to ask highly practical, specific questions. And that is exactly where kata comes in. It's a suffix that you attach directly to a verb, and it magically turns that action into a noun meaning the way of doing or how to do something. It transforms a simple floating action into a tangible, concrete noun. Think about how often in English we say things like, how do you do this? Or what's the exact method for that? Well, in Japanese, instead of constructing some long, clunky question, you simply attach kata to the action. It's incredibly efficient and for sure an absolute lifesaver for daily life in Japan.
Okay, let's break down the blueprint sequence for this construction. It is beautifully straightforward. Step 1, you just take your verb. For example, let's use to kau, which means to use. Step 2, you remove the mus ending to isolate the stem. Basically, if you have the polite form tsukaimasu, you literally just chop off the masu. What are you left with? Tsukai. Step 3, you just pop kata on the end to create your brand new noun. So, tsukai plus kat becomes tukai kata. Boom. You've just built the word for how to use, or the method of using. Let's do another quick mental example together, just to really lock this in. What if we take the verb for eating, tabemasu? Drop the masu, you get tabe. Add kata, and you get tabekata, the way of eating. It really is that mechanical and reliable every single time.
Let's linger on another really lovely example to solidify the concept. The verb aruku, which means to walk, elegantly transforms into the noun arukikata, meaning the way of walking. And you'd use this in highly specific, descriptive situations. Imagine you're at a fashion show, admiring a runway model's specific stride. Or maybe you're at a traditional Japanese summer festival, a matsuri, and you're observing a very specific, intricate cultural dance. You aren't just talking about the act of walking in general anymore. You are pointing out their specific arukikata, their unique method or style of walking. Do you see how powerful that is? You are taking these dynamic verbs and locking them into neat, highly usable nouns that let you express much more complex observations.
Section 3. The crucial particle shift, the JLPT pitfall.
So, building the word with the stem and kata, that's the easy part. But putting it into a full sentence, that is exactly where so many JLPT students fall into a major trap. If you aren't paying close attention to your particles, the exam will absolutely catch you out. Let's compare the mechanics here. Normally, if you just want to say write kanji, you'd use the object particle o, kanji o kaku. The action is being done directly to the object. But what happens when we use our fancy new grammar? Kanji o kakikata is entirely incorrect. Why? Because your new kata word, kakikata, is fundamentally a noun now. You cannot use an action particle because you are no longer actively writing the kanji, you are possessing the method of the kanji. Therefore, you absolutely must abandon the object particle o and shift to the possessive particle no, seamlessly connecting two nouns together. The correct, natural way to say it is kanji no kakikata.
If you want a foolproof exam trick to lock this into your memory forever, I want you to always translate this structure in your head as the how-to of something. The how-to of kanji, the way of walking. Let's try another one together. The method of making sushi.
Sushi no tsukurikata. Do you hear that no right in the middle? That little English word of perfectly prompts your brain to use the no particle. It is such a simple mental switch. Every single time you think kata, I want you to think of, and you'll automatically grab the correct particle. It'll save you vital points on the N4 test and make you sound vastly more native in normal conversation.
Section 4. The Art of Wondering. Kashira and Voicing Inner Thoughts.
All right, we are transitioning now from the rigid architectural rules of verb stems and particles over to the much softer, emotional side of the language. Because speaking Japanese isn't just about barking instructions or building nouns, it's about expressing your internal world. I want you to really think about this question. How do you actually voice your inner thoughts, or pose a soft, indirect question without sounding demanding? Sounding overly direct or demanding in Japanese can be a major faux pas, right? When you are just musing to yourself, maybe you're looking around for your keys or just wondering if it's going to rain later, how do you express that curiosity gracefully without interrogating the person standing next to you?
Well, the answer is the incredibly charming particle kashira. It is a sentence-ending particle that essentially translates to, I wonder. It acts as the absolute perfect tool to soften your curiosity into a gentle thought. You know, Japanese culture places a huge value on kyuki wo yomu, which literally translates to reading the air or understanding the atmosphere of a room. Kashira is the ultimate tool for exactly that. It lets you toss a thought or a question out into the air without forcing anyone to catch it or respond immediately. It's heavily used when you're asking yourself a question out loud or when you want to pose a very soft, indirect question to someone else. It leaves plenty of comfortable room for them to answer or not answer without ever feeling pressured.
Section 5. Navigating conversational nuance, tone, and vibe.
Now, as focused learners, you might be sitting there wondering how this differs from other particles you've already learned. If you've been studying N4 Grammar for a bit, you probably already know another word that means I wonder, and that's kana. This side-by-side comparison is incredibly important for mastering conversational nuance. Both of these mean I wonder, but they carry completely different energy. Kana brings a very neutral or even slightly masculine energy to the sentence. On the flip side, kashira traditionally offers a beautifully soft, elegant, and feminine vibe. It is incredibly gentle. Now, while kana is pretty universally neutral today, kashira has very traditional roots in feminine speech. But you know, language is always evolving. Today, you might actually hear anyone use kashira in certain polite contexts or just to add a deliberate touch of elegance to their speech. But understanding its historically feminine, soft vibe is absolutely crucial for reading the room and choosing the exact tone you want to project.
Section 6. The final grammar review, seeing it all in action. Okay, we've talked a lot about the concept, but now let's meticulously review the structural rules and see these elegant nuances in action through some dedicated examples. Because getting the structure right is just as important as getting the vibe right. To harness this grammar properly, your base rule is simple. You attach kashira directly to the plain form of verbs, adjectives, or nouns. But please, pay attention to the golden exception. When you are dealing with nouns and not adjectives, do not add da before kashira. You just drop the da completely. Let's look at exactly how this plays out in some real sentences.
Imagine this. You're hosting a nice dinner party. You're setting the table, the food is almost ready, but one guest is running noticeably late. Instead of aggressively turning to your other friends and demanding, "Is he coming?" you just gently murmur to yourself while folding a napkin, "Kare wa kuru kashira?" I wonder if he'll come. Notice how incredibly smoothly kashira connects to the plain dictionary verb kuru. It takes a basic factual statement, he comes, and turns it into an elegant inward thought. It doesn't demand that your guests stop what they are doing to answer you. It's just so much softer than asking, "Kare wa kimasu ka?" which directly demands a yes or no response.
Now check out this scenario. Doko ni aru no kashira? I wonder where it could be. In this sentence, appending kashira transforms what could easily be a blunt demand about a missing item into a delicate, indirect musing. Let's say you're walking around the office looking for the communal stapler. If you shout, "Where is the stapler?" you disrupt the whole room. But if you just walk around gently saying, "Doko ni aru no kashira?" out loud, it's a very polite, non-intrusive way to prompt someone to help you without directly commanding them to do so. You're literally just wondering aloud, and if a coworker knows, they'll kindly chime in. That right there is mastering Japanese office etiquette.
And here is our golden exception, beautifully applied in the wild. Kirei kashira? I wonder if it's pretty. Let's say you're looking at a dress in a shop window, or maybe you're evaluating a presentation slide for a big meeting. Instead of stating, "It is pretty," or bluntly asking someone else for their opinion, you soften it. Kirei kashira? Now, kirei is a na adjective. Normally, in plain form, you might think you need to say kirei da. But remember a rule. We skip the da entirely. The da is gone. We just let the plain adjective sit right next to kashira to add that soft layer of wonder. It flows so naturally once you get the hang of it, I promise.
Which brings us to our final thought for today's explainer. Which part of your Japanese will you upgrade first? Are you going to focus on your mechanical precision or your soft conversational charm? By blending the structural precision of kata with the charming elegance of kashirai, you are more than ready to tackle both the N4 exam and real-world conversations with total confidence. Taking these two small tools into your next study session or out into the real world is going to yield immediate, noticeable results in how native speakers react to you. You've got the tools. You understand the vibe. The only thing left to wonder is, what will you learn next? Keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next explainer.